All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday. We've got a full 15 game slate. I'm excited. Let's talk about these games, dig into it. But before we do that, let's recap yesterday. So we had Rays team total over 4.5. Check. Rays first five. Check. Nationals money line. Got a little sweaty, but check. Padres race to 4. Check. Just came down to Twins money line for the sweeperoo. They got off to a 4-1 lead, and then they had a really bad inning. Ended up being 6-5. So all in all, still a fantastic day. We go 4-1. We had Toronto, Baltimore under 8.5. That got rained out. So we'll take a 4-1 day, all day, every day. That was beautiful. All right, let's jump right into this slate today. First game on the card is going to be the Tigers and the Twins. We got Jackson Jobe going up against Chris Paddock. We're going to have a 13-mile-an-hour wind, basically blowing from just the side, kind of a side wind, 63 degrees, 49% humidity, pretty mid-air pressure. I don't trust either of these pitchers, if I'm being honest. Jackson Jobe, last outing was against the White Sox, went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned run, 4 Ks. Prior to that, he was pitching against the Mariners in Seattle. 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. If we look at Chris Paddock, he hasn't faced Detroit since 2022. I just have some concerns. There's some erraticness. He's not gotten off to the best start. He is 0-1 with a 14.73 ERA. Had a really bad outing against the White Sox. Last outing was against Houston. A little bit better. Went 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, and 2 Ks. But prior to that, gave up like 9 earned runs in about 2 innings. So I'm not set. I can't back the Twins. That said, Jackson Jobe's a little junior. I would lean Tigers. That's just kind of where I'm at. They're hot. I know we were on the Twins yesterday. I could see Paddock having a really good day, though. So I'm laying off this game personally, but my lean would be to take Detroit at plus money. Next game, it's going to be the Phillies and the Cards. We got Christopher Sanchez going up against Miles Mikolas. Weather for this one's going to be okay. It's going to be 57 degrees. We do have the wind blowing slightly out at about 7 miles an hour. My only concern here is we do have some pretty high pressure, so that's going to impact ball carry. And we've got pretty mid humidity. If we look at Sanchez, he hasn't faced St. Louis since 2023, so it's been a while. A lot of new faces on this team. If we look at Miles Mikolas, he faced them last year. Gave up 5 runs in 12 innings at 8 Ks. So it's very mid at best. That said, it's one of those where they're still, the Phillies are hitting 279 off of him. So they're 46 for 165 if we look at the current people on this roster. They've hit 6 home runs off of him. So I like this spot for Philly. Bounce back after yesterday. Had a feeling they were going to end up losing yesterday. Just extra innings, travel spot, heading towards the West Coast, just usually never good. I love Sanchez on the bump here. He is throwing extremely well against lefties. Hasn't given up a hit against a lefty yet. In terms of righties, he's a little worse, 313, but I think he's going to perform today. Miles Mikolas, just not somebody I can get behind. Miles giving up a 500 average to lefties, 273 to righties. Rocking a stout 11.25 ERA. Now it's early in the season. Don't read too much into that. But he's not K'ing anybody. I think the way to get to the Phillies is by striking them out. He's got a 10% strikeout rate. So his strikeout rate and walk rate are pretty close to each other. Whereas Sanchez has been K'ing people left and right. This is one of his best starts in terms of Ks. He's got a 34% K rate and only a 6% walk rate here. So everything here screams Phillies. Give me Phillies first 5 minus a half a run as my best bet in this game. All right, next game, Giants and the Yankees. Boy, I bet a lot of people were pissed yesterday. I'm sure a lot of people were on the Yankees and the Red Sox, and just sheer disappointment. Marcus Stroman, I said it in the video yesterday, just not somebody I can get behind. I didn't touch that game. Yeah, I can't get behind Stroman. So he got absolutely shelled, didn't even make it out of the first, and then he had to go have an x-ray after the game because his knee was, quote-unquote, bothering him before the game. Sounds like an excuse to keep his job. Anywho, weather today is going to be cold. It's going to be 37 degrees with the wind in from right field, 12 to 14 miles an hour. We do have some high humidity. Not a good day to hit home runs. So therefore, I cannot back the Cubs or Yankees, especially at minus 142. And you've got Will Warren on the bump. I just can't do it, man. Last start for him was at Pittsburgh, went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 Ks. I just can't get behind this guy. If we look at Jordan Hicks, he's 0-1 with a 3.27 ERA versus the Yankees all time. Last year, he pitched against them in 1 game. It was in San Francisco. 5.1 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 Ks. Not bad for that park. And in the summertime, not a terrible outing. So to me, this is another game where it's Giants are past. The only thing I don't love is the pitch splits are really bad for Hicks. Primarily throws a fastball, man. 75% of the time he's going to throw a fastball. Yankees are 4th in hitting the fastball. Slider 21% of the time, Yankees are 10th. And then he throws about 4% of the time he'll throw a sinker pitch, and the Yankees are number 1 in that. So not much I can get behind there, but like I said, I can't back Will Warren, and the Yankees are just one team. If the conditions are very poor to hit home runs, they just do not do well whatsoever. I mean, that said, home runs are only down like 14% today, but just not one I can get behind today. This is probably overall like one of the better days in terms of run potential and things like that. So runs are only down 5%, but like I said, with Will Warren on the hill, is it worth $1.42? Absolutely not. So I won't be touching that game whatsoever. All right, next game is going to be the Mets and the Athletics. I gave out a 2-leg parlay in the Discord last night, and it was Juan Soto over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs paired with Manny Machado over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So that was a nice little cash in the Discord, but love the Mets tonight. David Peterson throwing well, 2.53 ERA, 1-0. Opponent average of 2.11. I think he's going to be going up against JT Jen. JT would be making his first start of the year. This guy came in at the last half of last season. I mean, he was okay. He threw 34 innings, gave up 36 hits, 16 earned runs, had a 4.24 ERA, and struck out 29 in 34 innings. He's serviceable, but not somebody I want to put my money on personally. So I thought the Mets were going to cruise yesterday. They actually kind of barely got the job done. But I like them to win behind Peterson today. So give me the Mets minus a 135 in this spot. I think Pete Alonso just continues to rake. He is one of the hottest hitters on planet Earth right now, by the way. In terms of the weather in that game, it's going to be between 66 and 70 degrees as kind of the game goes on. We're going to have the wind blowing in from left field, but not too bad. It's like 7 miles an hour, pretty mid pressure and humidity, so really shouldn't impact carry a ton. This is just a nice spot to take the Mets here. All right, next game on the card. Blue Jays and the Orioles. Same pitchers as yesterday, Bowden Francis and Tomoyuki Sugano. We get an over-under of 8 today. We've got the wind in from left field. It's going to be 50 degrees, pretty mid-humidity and pressure. I don't love that over-under as much now because it is 8 and just because the wind direction's changed and air pressure and all that stuff. So not as in love with that today, but I do love the Blue Jays' first 5. Bowden Francis has just been pretty outstanding. Sugano's been good, but his struggle is he gets hit early. So I like him to give up a little hits early. My only fear with Bowden is, right-handed hitters have had some success against him, but the damage from the O's are going to come from the left-handed side. And he's done really well against lefties. Only given up a 148 average to lefties. Sugano, kind of the opposite, pitching okay against righties. Lefties have given him some trouble. So I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. First 5 here. That is my official play on that one. Next game, let's see, Nationals and the Marlins. Trevor Williams going up against Sandy Alcantara. This is an interesting game. Nats were scaring the shit out of me last night. But Alcantara coming off of, had a baby. So he's coming off of that leave. This will be his first game back. That's why we had Edward Cabrera throwing yesterday. They brought him off the IL a little early to throw that game. So, in my opinion, is it a Marlins spot? Probably. Am I willing to pay minus 148 with the Miami Marlins? God, no. That said, Trevor Williams has not been pitching well, giving up 478 average to lefties, 222 average to righties. Alcantara's pitching pretty well, 0.095 average to righties. We had CJ Abrams leave the game last night for the Nats, so one of their best players is not going to be in here. It's just a fade for me. I cannot get behind a Marlins team at minus 148, and I don't trust the Nats in this game losing Abrams. So it's Nats or nothing for me in this game. Over-under is definitely in play at 8. I could see it hitting, so I wouldn't be opposed to an over-under. In terms of the weather, it's going to be beautiful. 84 degrees, pretty low humidity, mid-pressure, and we're going to have the wind blowing out to right field. So Nats up or nada, in my opinion. All right, next game on the card is going to be the Red Sox and the White Sox. White Sox beat that ass yesterday. That was ridiculous. But you had two really bad pitchers going up against each other. You knew someone was going to get rocked. Today we got Richard Fitz going up against Martin Perez. Now, Perez has not had good luck versus this team, actually. They've actually been able to get to him in the past. That said, he's throwing the ball real well right now. So not really somebody that I would prefer to not take. But if we look at the lineup, this current lineup, they're 18 for 61 off of him with 5 extra base hits. Haven't hit a home run off of him, and they've K'd 8 times. So they're hitting 295 off of him. But not somebody I can get behind. Richard Fitz just not the guy that I think is going to come in and save the day here, especially at a price of minus 162. That's absurd. After the beatdown last night, the way Perez is pitching, he's got a 111 average to lefties, 0.097 to righties, ridiculously low hard hit percentage. We've got the wind blowing in from center field at like 7 miles an hour. This is a park that is highly receptive to wind. So a 7-mile-an-hour wind is very impactful. We've got high pressure and we got mid humidity. So we're going to not have good carry and the wind's going to be blowing in. Everything kind of screams under 8, but it's very similar yesterday and we saw what happened. So complete fave for me. White Sox first 5 or pass is the only way I would play this game. All right, next game is going to be the Braves and the Rays. The good old Rays came through for us yesterday. That was huge. They took them a while to get to Elder. I was starting to sweat, man. This guy's throwing 88 to 90 mile an hour fastballs, and they were struggling for a little bit. AJ Smith-Scheuer going up against Drew Rasmussen. I like Rasmussen. He's had a really good start to the season, 0.9 ERA, expected ERA of 1.7, going up against the rookie here who he's good. Like, he's got great stuff, but he's just not there yet. Same play I had his last start. We faded him his last start. I would fade him this start as well. We've got the wind blowing out to right field at like 17 miles an hour. It's going to be 79 degrees. Pretty low humidity, about 33% humidity. So that's going to impact carry just a little bit. But we got mid pressure. So pretty much an average day here. Over under of 9. I would take race team total over. I'm not paying minus 148. I trust Rasmussen. You could do a first 5 minus a half. That's another one that I looked at. Pitch splits for AJ, just not great. Like, he's going to throw, he's a kind of a junk ball guy, but I just don't see it. And the way the Braves kind of back to that spotty hitting a little bit. So Rays up for me. AJ's got a 429 average to right-handers hitters, a 292 average to lefties. We look at Drew Rasmussen, 200 to lefties, 0.071 to righties. So first 5 minus a half would be a pretty good play. Rays team total over, something like that. I don't really see an angle to get to the Braves in this one. Not with him throwing. All right, next game on the card is going to be the Kansas City Royals and the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland pulled it out yesterday. This is not a game I would touch with a 10-foot pole. We got a 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from right center. It's going to be 46 degrees, high humidity, and high pressure. So another game, probably going to be low scoring. I just don't want to touch it until the weather warms up there. I don't trust either of these pitchers. Luis Ortiz has a tendency to get rocked. He's got an 8.44 ERA. Lorenzen's got a 3.18 ERA. This game screams over 7.5, but with the weather here, and if we look over the past week with these Cleveland home series, the over's not been the best bet. So I can't really get behind Cleveland. I would lean Royals. Luis Ortiz is this guy I faded most of last year. It was highly successful. But that said, Kansas City in the cold weather, how are they going to play? I don't know. Haven't showed me anything yet. So fade for me. Royals are pass in my opinion. All right. My favorite game of the day, because I'll be there, is going to be the Reds and the Pirates. Andrew Haney going up against Andrew Abbott. Two lefties. This will be Abbott's first start of the season. Now, these are two teams that are struggling against lefties. Reds are hitting 141. Pirates are hitting 192. So really bad versus lefties. One play I love in this with Abbott's first start of the year. Andrew Abbott over 1.5 walks at -135. I think it's a really good deal. I think he walks at least 2. First start of the year, he throws a lot of breaking balls. And if he doesn't have his command a little bit on those, he's going to walk 2 pretty easily. So I do like that. Andrew Haney scares me a little bit. He's been really good against the Reds. He's gone 11 innings over his career. Now that was in one game in 2019, one game in 2022. So basically he's never faced anybody in this lineup. But he's had some success. It's going to be 54 degrees, 4 to 7 mile an hour wind blowing out to right field. Pretty high pressure today and pretty mid humidity, but should get some runs. I just don't trust. I don't trust taking the over against some lefties, so I'm out on that. Andrew Abbott versus Pittsburgh's 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. Both of those games were in 2023, so he has had some success against them. I would lean Reds because I'm a homer, but and I just like the way they looked last night. Kind of almost blew it, but Reds are passed to me. I think Abbott deals, but he's going to walk a couple people. All right, Angels and the Astros. Astros put an absolute beatdown on them last night. Tyler Anderson, not good against this team. He has a real bad track record against Houston. They are 51 for 159, batting .321 with 21 extra base hits, 7 home runs. That said, Tyler Anderson on the road, a lot better than Tyler Anderson at home. But just don't see an angle here to get to the Angels here. It would be Astros, but line's too much, so I would lean over. To me, it's the over or nothing in that one. Roof's going to be closed, so don't worry about weather. Next game's going to be the Brew Crew and the Diamondbacks. Gave out Brewers yesterday. It's going to be roof closed, so don't worry about the weather. Chad Patrick going up against Corbin Burns. I was very impressed with Chad Patrick when I watched him pitch his last start. I thought he looked really, really good. He had great movement on his pitches. He was able to control the locations. That said, doesn't have the best pitch mix today, but neither does Corbin Burns. So I'm not buying Diamondbacks -180 just because Corbin Burns is throwing. He's got a 5.79 ERA, not a great start to his season. So yeah, I can't get behind that. Not a game I'm going to touch, but I would lean Brewers money line or the over in this one. Next game is going to be the Rockies and the Padres. Beautiful Padres coming through for us with the race to 4. That was awesome. We're going to have an 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right field. It's going to be 64 degrees, pretty mid in terms of pressure and humidity. Kyle Hart going up against Chase Dollander. Two guys with some pretty high ERAs. Yeah, I can't get behind this. So this is the over for me. I would take the over and just move on. I think the Padres end up winning, but I don't really want to get behind Kyle Hart and bank on that. I liked the matchup last night. That's why we were all over it. Pivetta versus Marquez, but little different story tonight. So I would just say give me the over. Not taking the Padres at -1.7 with Hart on the bump. Next game, Cubs and the Dodgers. Interesting game last night. Dodgers won 3-0. Should be a different story tonight. Ben Brown going up against Roki Sasaki. Ben Brown, 7.71 ERA. Not a fantastic start. This guy's just not a lockdown pitcher. Roki, who knows what you're going to get out of him. Last start was excellent. He pitched really, really well. Will it be sustained? I don't know. We'll have to see. A lot of good improvements there. So I feel more confident that he's going to at least have a somewhat serviceable outing. I mean, if he can get that splitter, it's almost like it's like a knuckleball. It's a weird pitch that he throws, but if he can get that split sinker working, he's pretty devastating. So I would lean Dodgers in this one, -192. We're going to do race to 4. So that is how I am playing that, but I really don't see a path to get to the Cubs with Ben Brown on the hill. Last game of the card, Rangers and the Mariners. Kumar Rocker going up against Brian Wu. Wu at home. has been outstanding. I think a lot of people were on the Rangers yesterday with Jacob deGrom on the mound, so they probably were very disappointed in this game. Can't trust Kumar in this spot, and Mariners at home are just not a team that I don't like fading the Mariners at home. That said, they're 6-5 at home, so it's not like they've been unbeatable. But Rangers are 3-4 away, so I don't love the spot for them. But if we look at the last 10, Rangers are 6-4, Mariners are 4-6. But I really can't find an angle to take Texas here at plus 124. That said, I'm not paying minus 148 for the Mariners either. One prop I did like in this one is Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's been on a pretty nice little tear. So I do like that play today. But yeah, this is Mariners or pass for me. Nerfy would probably in a good spot here, so I don't mind the Nerfy. But yeah, it's about all I got for that game. All right, let's get into our best bets. Get you guys on your way. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. First play on the card is going to be Andrew Abbott over 1.5 base on balls. Like I said, first outing of the year. Lefty likes to throw a lot of loopy breaking stuff. Could definitely see him walking a couple guys. He typically does. Next one's going to be Blue Jays first 5. We're just trusting Bowden Francis to get the job done for us. And like I said, we've seen the Orioles pitcher get hit early and then settle in. So we're hoping for a couple of Blue Jays runs. I like the Blue Jays to win the game too. So kind of both ways on that one. Next play is going to be Teoscar Hernandez to get an RBI, plus 135 on DraftKings. Love this spot for him. So you've got Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie hitting in front of him against Ben Brown, who should be very hittable. We got the wind blowing out. Everything screams should be a great opportunity for Teoscar tonight to get a ribby. Next play is going to be Phillies first 5 minus 0.5. Just Christopher Sanchez versus Miles Mikolas. That is a huge pitching disparity. If I can fade Miles, I'm going to do that all season. So, and now I get a great pitcher on the other side. So this was pretty easy for me. And then final play on the card is going to be Dodgers race to 4. So hoping Roki doesn't have some weird, crazy blow up type stuff, but I think the Dodgers should get to Ben Brown early and often. So I like the spot here. So those are the plays, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. It's free, absolutely free. Link is down below. And I'll catch you in the next video.